And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. Wednesdays here on the program, we like to put the farm women's group CommonGround in the spotlight.
CommonGround is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know about how their food is grown. So joining us now to talk about antibiotic use in livestock is Elaine Farley-Zoucha. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
How's everything in your area?
Good. Harvest is over, so we're good. Moving on to holidays.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
More
huh?
stress.
Right. Oh yeah, more stress. A different kind of stress.
Different kind of stress.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. So we want to talk a little bit about antibiotics in livestock. Why are consumers concerned about this?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we hear is being a dietitian is, is this going to affect me when I eat the product? Mm-hmm. And the most important thing to remember is that the products that are in the grocery stores ready for consumers, they are appropriate to eat. They're ready for market. With antibiotic use, there's a clearance period that has to take place there. And so depending on the type of antibiotic that's used, there's a tracking method that the farmer producer does, ensuring that they know when that antibiotic was used, what it was used for, the appropriate length of time, and then the clearance period before it can go into market or be processed.
Okay.
So I think that's the important thing to remember is that there's that clearance period.
So when people are eating meat that may have had an antibiotic used in it, by the time it gets to the grocery store, that residue or whatever is gone.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So just like when we consume something, when we have an antibiotic, there's a certain time period that stays in our system and will continue to work. And so there's that clearance period for animals as well. And so before it can even be brought to market, it has to have that clearance period.
Interesting.
And I guess there are some new regulations going on happening this coming month, is that right?
There are. In December 2016 is when the regulations will take place. But, here in Nebraska, the producers have been well in advance doing the new regulations. So the regulations that are taking place have to do with veterinary feed distribution, and so making sure that certain antibiotics that are also used in human usage are being regulated, and also the veterinarian has to approve those. So there's certain classes of antibiotics that can be used without a veterinarian clearance on that, or a veterinary feed prescription, so to speak. And those 4 classes are clearly defined on what can be used. And then the ones which are only 0.3% of antibiotics that are used in animals are also used in human consumption. So that's important to remember.
You have a unique perspective on this because you're a registered dietitian, you're a producer as well.
Right.
So again, maybe talk about that again, your perspective on this. I mean, being a registered dietitian and a producer, is there something to worry about here?
There isn't anything to worry about. I mean, kind of like what I've always said is, we feed our families the same thing that we take to market. So it's important that what we're feeding our families is a good product and a safe product. And so anything that we would feed our families is going to be safe. And the most important thing to remember is that clearance period. So there's so many standards put in place, and there's so much testing that's done prior to the product getting to the consumer that the United States has the safest food out there. I think the biggest thing to remember is that food safety once it's home. That's the big piece, because that's where a lot of people get sick, and they think that it's something that happened on the other end, but it's not. It's usually what has been done after the product's been brought home.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Elaine, thank you for doing this and coming in, and you're sticking around, right?
I guess, yeah. We're going to make a recipe. So,
and
great holiday recipe.
I told you this is kind of our ulterior motive. Try to keep you here so we can enjoy a recipe. And, you have another recipe to share. She's going to make a pork loin.
Ooh, using pork today. That'd be good.
We use pork today.
It's a cranberry balsamic pork loin?
Yes.
That sounds fancy. All right, we're going to have that recipe after the break.